All right, today we're going to do an overview of how to set up a new weekly service task. This is not like the previous classes where I showed you how to do this individually. This is a start to finish video. So from the moment we hang up the phone with the customer, this is the step-by-step process all the way to getting them onto weekly recurring service. So I'm just going to go through this. I'll comment as I go, take notes, and yeah, just follow these steps whenever the time comes. First things first, we have to add the customer to the system. All right, as the customer set up, now once we've got the customer in the system, we actually have to create the work orders so we can go out and perform any assessments that they are needing. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my templates, go to my queues, the reminder and the startup tech, reminder being for the office. Choose the appropriate queue that needs to be held in for tracking. Those are both good. Send estimate no and release work order yes for the tracking one. All right, now we actually have the job on the schedule that the people in the office can actually see to make sure we follow up with this. And then I got to do another template, choose the other one for the actual technician that's going to provide the evaluation on the scheduled date that we will be doing it. And then I will assign it to the technician. Be sure to put those notes. Notice that I copied the facility description earlier. Call before to have dogs put up. Very important information. We need to send the estimate and release the work order yes. Always send the estimate to let them know that the job's been put on the schedule, and I release the work order so the technician can see it. Customer approval is not needed in this case. We just need to set the status to sent. In the case that a customer does want to hit that email and do the approval themselves, you can just leave that as customer approval needed. So update work order. All right, so now we have the tracking one and the technician job. Go to schedule, there's that job, and there's this job. So for the sake of closing it out, usually these jobs are closed out in the field, but I'm obviously not in the field, so I'm going to close it right here. All right. We don't need to create an invoice for this. It's not invoiceable unless I sold something proactively in the field, such as a skimmer basket, and I was attaching it to this job. The technician will actually do that in the field in the case, or they will call the office and ask for us to do that. In this case, we don't need to create an invoice because there's no money attached to the job yet. All right, so that's closed. So me being in the office, I'm waiting for this job to get closed out. Okay, it's closed out right there. We can see that. Go ahead and check the notes on it. I can view. Pool is ready for service, providing an estimate of $45.50 per week. Pool is 25,000 gallons. Awesome, awesome. So next step, I need to call this customer and click their name and get their phone number. Once I have their phone number, I can actually give them a call, confirm that we're on the same page, make sure that they want to actually get the service and that they were satisfied with the visit. Inform them that I'm going to be sending the terms of service agreement over to them, and that way they can sign it and return it. At that point in time, you can request to get their payment information on file so we can go ahead and put it into QuickBooks and ensure that there's not going to be any hiccups on service if for whatever reason they can't access their email. They do need to sign that terms of service and send it back to us, but it's very important that we get that payment method on file so we can process it so there's no hang-ups. What if they can't get their email for whatever reason? Then we can't charge them the rate, so we can't actually start the work. But next step is sending them to DocuSign. So we go to DocuSign. Once you're here, you have Home, Manage, and Templates. Go to the Templates. We have these little side items, My Templates. Choose the corresponding company. Here's our different packages that we actually offer. This is going to be a full service cleaning. So you literally just click here, and you actually have to go in and edit it. So we got the template open. It's edit. Once we click the edit button, we can go in and change some pricing and stuff like that. Hit the next button, scroll on over. Now we are in the editing area. You can scroll down, and then you can see all these required fields and read-only fields. So what we have sold them is full service cleaning at $45.50 per week plus tax. A semi-annual filter clean, 2 filter cleanings at $125 per visit. Salt cell cleans if applicable. No reported salt cell in the system. We got to save and close. That is it. Then you go to Manage, click New, use a template, choose the full service template. We have to put their name. This is going to kick back as a failure because it's not a real email address, but we're just going to step through the process. Jane Doe, and then whatever text you want them to read. Typically, I put, thank you for choosing. I'm not going to type all that. Thank you for choosing Tropic Island Pools as your weekly service provider. Your day of service is going to be on whatever day you choose. Your technician will be this. Feel free to call if you have any questions or concerns, but please have this signed and returned at your earliest convenience. Something along those lines. Straightforward, professional. Then all you got to do is send it. Once it's sent, you just wait for confirmation that it comes back. Once they've actually viewed this, you'll receive an email via the service email on Outlook that tells you that they have viewed it, they've opened it, and when they sign and return it, you're going to get another email that says they've signed and returned it. At that point, you can come back to DocuSign. You can go to the home page, you can go to the completed tab, and you're going to see them in here. This one's completed, so you can just open it up, and I'll just scroll to this one. And you can see they've e-signed everything that we need to have. It's been done. If you haven't already gotten their payment information on file, when you're on the phone with them in the first place before you sent the terms of service, they actually fill that out on the third page. I'm not going to scroll to the third page because you would see this guy's card information, but they fill the payment information out on that third page. It's a credit card authorization form telling us that we are allowed to charge their card. And that's it. Once you get this, you can put that payment information in the system, and it's official. We move on to the next step as far as the DocuSign. These two sections kind of overlap because you want to get the task set up in the system because you don't want to forget to do it. If you got the card on file when you spoke with them before you sent the terms of service, you want to go ahead and set the tasks up, get them on weekly service. So it kind of overlaps. You got to make a judgment call at this point as when do you set these tasks up. That's the process of actually getting our terms of service filled out completely. Now we're on Jane Doe. It is done. We've got them the terms of service. I can go back to the schedule. I can actually go to the weekly new. A lot of people, what they do at this point is they go close this, and then they haven't actually put it on task. Don't close this until you are 100% done with this account, and it is on task on weekly. this is your confirmation that you're finished. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to go back to Mrs. Jane Doe here, go to the tasks, and I'm going to add my recurring task for weekly service. So they're going to start next week. It is going to be full service at $45.50 per week plus tax. Service profiles full SIG checklist. It is a weekly recurring customer. Day of service is going to be on Tuesdays, or whatever day you've slotted in to the schedule to make sure that it's going to be appropriate. We have the per visit pre-build on weekly recurring services, and it is always on the first. Recurring notes, very important that we always put these. Notice I copied the facility description earlier. Call before to have dogs put up. Now they know that they do have dogs in that backyard. You got to put gate codes there. Let me see here. Actually, we got community codes and lock combo codes, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in there as well. I almost forgot that. There you go. Gate code 4444. There you go. Now they have all their gate codes. They know there's dogs that are back there. Don't got to worry about them having a reason to not be able to get in the backyard. That is the weekly recurring task. Now we actually have to do the filter cleaning task. We're going to say it starts next week as well. Haven't had a filter clean in a while, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Filter cleans $125. That's automatic. That's what we sold them. If we had sold them something different, we would change it right here on the custom pricing, but we don't need to do that. So this one is the filter checklist. It is semi-annual, every 6 months, just like we put on the DocuSign. We have to choose the corresponding queue based on the region that they live. This account is in the Dallas side of town, so it needs to go to the PPC filter clean tracking queue tasks Dallas. It is per the invoicing type is per visit summary list consumables, and the invoice date is always when completed. We still need to put these notes on this recurring task as well. What if the weekly technician isn't the one that actually goes and does the filter clean? Need to put that on here so whoever does go has it. There we go. So now we have the actual tasks set up. They are on recurring service for a technician on Tuesdays. Their filter clean is ready to go. Both of these things are going to pop up here soon. This is actually going to pop up on a Sunday since I put it there, so I'm actually going to put it on the 25th. There we go. So that one's going to show up on the 25th, which is the same day of service, so we can reassign it to the technician. All right, so now we got the task set up. They're on recurring service. We have their account set up. We've received the DocuSign back. Now we can actually go over to the work orders, and we can close out the reminder queue because it is finished. Placed on weekly service. We do not need to create an invoice. We just close it. There's no money attached to either one of these. What's going to happen now at this point is the technician is going to go out to this account on Tuesday. He's going to clean the pool. Once he closes that job out, it's going to generate the prorated invoice for the remainder of the month. Once that invoice has been generated after Tuesday for the remainder of the month, we need to go to the accounting tab. Once we're in the accounting tab, and this is just something you should check a couple times a day, just to make sure we push these things beginning and end of day. You'll choose your transaction type tasks. I always go down to the sort order and choose descending. Once you've chosen descending, you have to build the invoices. With tasks, you actually have to build these invoices. With work orders, they automatically populate when you close the job and opt to create an invoice. Tasks, you actually have to build. Doesn't take long. Hit the refresh button, and bam, here we go. Jane Doe has generated a prorated amount of $45.50 for the remainder of the month because there is only one Tuesday left in this month. So we can actually click on it. You can release it. Once it's been released, you check mark it, drop down over all this stuff, and you actually have to go into the server. Once you get into the server, you actually have to have Ion pulled up in here with the accounting tab. This is where you actually push to QuickBooks. Same concept. You go to Ion inside the server. You go to the accounting tab. You release the corresponding tasks or work orders you want to push. You check mark them. Once they've been check marked, you use your web connector and you sync them into QuickBooks. That way it can be charged. and that is front to back setting up a task for a customer. So, brief overview of everything that we just did. We took the call, we set them up for an evaluation. Technician went out, did the evaluation, closed the job, reported the information we needed. So we called the customer, doubled down to make sure that the information was accurate. We told them we're sending them the terms of service via DocuSign. It's going to show up in their email. We went ahead and took their card information down at that time, just in case they weren't able to get access to their information, or maybe you didn't do that. Maybe they're going to fill it out immediately. It's just a good note to have. They get the terms of service agreement, they sign it and return it. We go back to DocuSign, we get that information that we need, that is their signature and their payment information on file. We then can go over to QuickBooks and put the payment information onto their account. From that point, we went to the actual tasks on the customer's account. We created the weekly recurring tasks, and we created the filter cleaning recurring task. Once both of those were set up in the system, we went back to the tracking queue for the new weekly startup that we had created in the beginning, and we closed that out, informing that we had actually placed that account on the weekly service. Once the job gets closed out in the field, we go to the accounting tab, and we release the corresponding invoice to QuickBooks. We then have to upload that into QuickBooks. That way we can actually charge the invoice for the prorated amount for the month. Now, all of that sounds like a massive mouthful. Sounds like there's a lot that goes on. Really, it's not too much. Once you get into the flow of things, this whole process happens pretty quick. All of it doesn't happen at one time either. This is an ever-changing thing. So one day we're going to set up the new weekly startup, and then a couple days go by and we perform it. Then we have to send the DocuSign out and get the payment information. Once we receive that stuff, then we got to put them on the task. And essentially, once you get them to task, they're now on a weekly recurring schedule. We just have to maintain and retain that customer, make sure the technician goes out, does a good job, check the photos on the pool, check the chemicals on the pool, and if there's an issue, contact the customer, let them know that there's a problem. Other than that, we're good to go. That's a lifelong customer. So anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, of course, but you can use this video, of course, as a reference, start to finish. Watch it 2 or 3 times to see this process and how it goes. It's a rinse and repeat type of thing. That every time you get a new weekly service signed up, these are the steps that you're going to take. So you'll get fast. Don't worry about the details. It's just process of repetition. So anyways, that is it for this video.